Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second episode of the Mrs. Podcast. Today we're joined by a special guest, Waffles. How are you doing today, Waffles?
I'm doing all
right. You want to tell us some, introduce yourself, tell us some stuff about you?
Yeah. I've been a gamer for a pretty long time. Been playing Call of Duty for a long ass time.
Do you play competitively?
Not so much. I just always played for fun. I tried 100% all of them.
Yeah.
I played Destiny competitively though. I used to play a lot of Trials.
Did you used to play on PlayStation, PC, Xbox?
Xbox and PC.
Which one do you play? One console or one certain gaming device exclusively, or do you kind of switch it up every now and then?
Well, even when I was playing on PC, which I still do, I don't use mouse and keyboard. It's not comfortable to me.
So you're more of a controller player than a M&K?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
I mean, it also involves my job. I'm a maintenance man.
Yeah.
And I take care of 450 units for an apartment complex with one other guy as my coworker. So my hands are
tell us how old you are?
I'm 23.
23. Well, my name is Mr. Rosano. I started this podcast a couple of days ago with my friends, and we're just gonna do it and see where it goes, see where it takes us. There's not really ever a scripted point, never anything that's very heavily edited. It's all very freedom of speeches, and just all your views will be taken into consideration. There will be no sides being chosen or any sort of bias from my end.
Okay. I fuck with that.
So is there anything specific you want to talk about today?
I mean, I love debating about things, especially important things, like what you think about all this shit with, the supposed World War III that's coming. You think it's gonna actually happen?
I think the only reason the world wouldn't initiate itself in the third sequence of world wars is mostly due to the fact that nuclear weapons are in such a race right now. We're in such a tense state in the world. And I feel like World War III would kind of make it to where all that aggression would kind of pour out into something that's a little bit unsavory and something that maybe, is thought about with, little, what's the word? I don't know, just regard for human life. I feel like it'd be a nuclear holocaust or a nuclear winter.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, are you scared about the Trump administration coming into order?
No. I completely support the Trump administration, the Vance administration. I completely support it. I completely support the cabinet members that are currently in office.
I'm not a Kamala fan or anything, but I still I feel like Trump kind of pissed on his image a little bit, and the only reason he has a better image now is because he got shot at and missed, and then put up the classic
right hand for justice.
Yeah, bro.
I mean, that was a little
corny.
That was a little corny. And that was a little corny. And as much as I respect Trump
and I admire him as a businessman, and I think he will do good for our economy. But
I think he definitely will be. I definitely agree with that point.
I feel like he's also gonna slip up and say some shit, just like in the past. I just hope he's learned a little bit from his mistakes,
Me too, because not everyone's perfect, but people are definitely more suited for certain roles than other people are. That's just how hierarchy is. There are people who are smarter, there's people who are stronger, people who are better at different things and have different skill sets, and etc. And I think his is definitely being able to appeal to just the public in general and his ability to persuade his way into making you understand him. And that's definitely a very good point. That's a very, very admirable quality in someone who is, the now commander-in-chief of the United States. And we have no choice but to agree with who our leaders are, as long as it was chosen through a democratic way. I don't agree with the fact that Kamala was president. She became president without a vote. I don't.
My question. Sorry, I don't mean to talk.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't agree with her policies either. They're fucking stupid. And that's like, I know that's like a blatant statement, but honestly, it's a great summary of her fucking attempt at presidency. It was terrible.
It was
terrible.
It really was.
I feel like, what was I gonna say? It's the problem with being a pothead.
I smoke weed too, man. Don't worry.
I just feel like the main issue right now isn't our president now, because like we finally made a good pick. I feel like the Democratic Party and the Republican Party shit is all wishy-washy now, and it's retarded. Like, we shouldn't even have that shit anymore, because they're both like mixed up and they don't choose one specific thing anymore.
Do you think we should try to get rid of the separate political parties and try to unite into one harmonious, I guess, superpower of the country?
Yeah. I think it'd be great if we had a seat. Yeah, that'd be fucking awesome. Like, just one big, yeah.
That would definitely, yeah, I agree with you. And that would definitely help better when it comes to not being biased in your side of being Republican for 20 years and supporting a certain group of people for 20 years, and then only choosing that person because it has been 20 years and you've always been on their side. I feel like if we got rid of that separate party, the Democrats versus Republicans, I feel like it should definitely just be one unified party.
Yeah, because it really just divides the nation. Like, nobody realizes that shit. Like the United States is like the culmination of a lot of shit that just happened to go just right. So I feel like people take it for granted. You know?
They definitely do, and we got to realize that America originally stood for freedom, and it was, no matter how you look at it, America was founded by terrorists for terrorists. I mean, we were initially a terrorist force to the United Kingdom, which I guess history is determined by the victors. So whoever won gets to choose on how the story goes.
All I can say is after Brexit, I feel like the UK doesn't really have much footing in much of shit. Like, they shouldn't even be touching Ukraine. They shouldn't be touching none of that shit.
They shouldn't. I feel like no one should be touching Ukraine. I feel like when it comes to the whole Russia-Ukraine conflict, it just comes down to who has more money and who has more money.
It's a testosterone game, dude. Like,
whose dick is bigger than his.
And Biden decided to fight for his last fucking dementia-ridden step. He's like, all right, give them the missiles.
50 billion to Israel.
Dude, they're giving missiles to fucking Ukraine.
If Ukraine uses those missiles, it will be over for civilization as we know it, because...
Well, here's the thing. Russia's already sent, like, a rocket, an ICBM, that's capable of holding nuclear fucking rockets in it.
It can hold plutonium. It can have a plutonium core in it.
So I feel like...
Or a uranium core, my bad.
Unless Trump is really like, I don't know, he like sucks Putin's cock or something, like...
Well, Putin has already came forward before Trump was even elected, before the race.
And he said if Trump got elected, he would fucking stop the war.
Ukraine. Yeah.
I do remember that, yeah.
Yeah, he did
but
say
it's
that,
like,
and he
after
did do
Biden
it.
pulled that shit, I don't know if he will.
I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't. I would take that as an act of war, and I would definitely... I would try my best to resolve it, but if it just keeps pointing to me as the bad guy, I would definitely just embrace it at that point. Since everyone wants to accept that as the truth, I would just embrace the title and just completely just destroy, because the troops that are in Ukraine right now, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that every Russian troop that's in Ukraine is an outside contractor that was hired. I don't think that Russia's actual military is being sent into Ukraine. I think they're hiring outside contractors, which is probably why they're
So
lacking
fucking dumb.
in the coordination. Yeah, they don't have night vision goggles. They don't have.
Dude, I've been seeing their combat skills in the fucking
They're
field.
not
I'm
good.
like, what's going on?
Yeah, like I saw this one video of this autistic person fighting on the Ukrainian side, and he was walking in some trees with like an MP49. Yeah, and they heard a whirl, like a whiz above him, and they all got down but him, and he fucking exploded.
Damn.
Which is like, I mean, obviously that's gonna happen. You can't bring someone with a very not up to par brain into.
That's some Left 4 Dead type shit.
You can't bring someone that has a mental disorder or a mental disability into the battlefield.
Yeah, bro.
That's like,
isn't there some shit in like one of the Last of Us games where there's like an autistic dude?
Yeah, no, you're right. You are right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know if he even has a name, but I do know who you're talking about.
Fucking it. But I feel like the biggest issue with our government right now, besides, you know, the shit with Ukraine and all that, is like our separate state senates, you know? So like I'm in California right now. I'm from North Carolina though, and I actually grew up in California. I lived in SoCal for like 5 years, and then I also lived in South Carolina.
I hear a lot of the drivers in California suck. Are you one of those bad drivers?
No, I'm a great driver actually, but my car is in the shop right now. Not because I got in an accident, but because my engine took a shit. But yeah, the drivers are pretty crappy here. I don't live where I grew up at. I'm in like the Bay Area, which is like, it's a little different.
Are you near
Colder.
like San Fran?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend named Ethan who lived near San Francisco. He lived in it was an apartment for people who were recovering addicts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he actually was pretty well off. He lived with this gay dude named Bruce. He was like,
why is it always Bruce, bro?
Why is it always Bruce? Isn't the gay dude in Family Guy's name Bruce, bro?
I think so.
Yeah. The Bruces are really a stereotype.
I mean, it's pretty bad here. I mean, growing up, it wasn't so bad. Like, and I lived in some pretty shitty parts. I lived in Inglewood. I lived in Long Beach. I lived in the San Fernando Valley.
Have you ever been to Merced?
Merced,
California.
That sounds familiar. I might have drove through there.
I stayed in Merced for quite a while, and that was a pretty gangbanger side of California. There's a lot of Asian.
Is that in SoCal?
No.
Or is that in North Cal?
I think that's in North.
Yeah, see, I don't know North Cal so well. I think I've traveled through Merced, though.
Merced is definitely a traveling area. You really want to get through that area as quick as possible.
You have to travel through there to get to Stockton?
Yeah, you do.
Okay, that's why. Because when I went and bought my transmission, because I knew my car was going to take a shit soon, I traveled to Stockton and bought my transmission. Crazy shit, bro. If I told you the amount of shit I went through to like get all the parts for my car, it's insane.
And to travel all around California, huh?
Bro, I ordered my engine from Washington, like Spokane, Washington. It took fucking
What kind
months.
of car do you have?
I have a 2000 Jeep Grand Cherokee.
What kind of engine do you have in it?
So it had the stock straight six and the stock transmission, and they both had 220,000 miles on it. I took care of it, but it finally threw a rod. They're pretty reliable.
Oh,
Yeah, I got
100%. My sister has
12 miles out of it. I've drove it across the country twice.
across the entire country.
Yeah,
Where have you
from
ever
North
traveled?
Carolina to Cali, and then from Cali to South Carolina.
Have you ever traveled? You know,
Out of country?
yeah.
Yeah. I
Where
went
have
to
you been?
Morocco once. And
Morocco.
Canada.
How's Morocco?
Huh?
How's Morocco? I feel like that's definitely a rough part of the world. Is Morocco?
Rough?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Is it not?
It's fucking right across from Spain. They were the first fucking country to acknowledge America and have an embassy. Fun fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you pretty knowledgeable when it comes to civics?
Not really. I actually failed civics.
You failed civics?
That's the one class I ever failed in my life.
It definitely sounds like you have a lot of not just political intelligence, but definitely just base intelligence for just a little bit of everything.
Or, no.
Alright, man.
No, I'm just playing.
You ain't got nowhere after saying that shit, bro.
So, I mean,
Zero.
like, I feel like the biggest issue is these states are so separated when it comes to their, like, choices on what to do. Like, you got, okay, just for example, right? You got Portland, Oregon. They got all fucking drugs legal. It's a hellhole. There's, like, people all over the street. It's like Cali, but worse. But nobody wants to say that.
I've
And
definitely
then you
heard
got,
stories
like,
about it.
you got, like, Houston, Texas, where they got the same property fucking value as California now because everyone wanted to move there, but the pay is still the same. It doesn't really make sense.
If you could
It's
live
like,
anywhere, would you still choose to live in California?
I mean, because of my job, I'm lucky.
To be in Cali or to have the job?
Not to be in Cali. But if I didn't have this, no.
Well,
I wouldn't.
I feel like it's definitely a big rise in inflation in California, just for basic things, is it not?
Yeah, totally.
Do you have to pay more than you normally would in like a different area of the world or a different state?
Well, as far as gas, we're paying like damn near the same as Germany, which is insane. So,
that is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I would definitely not
Fun fact,
choose
I
to live in
used to live in
California.
Asheville, by the way.
What?
I used to live in Asheville, by the way.
That's
Asheville,
where
North Carolina.
that's where me and my buddy Gabe, we live in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I moved like a year ago from there. No, a year and a half ago from there.
And you lived in Nashville?
No, not Nashville. Asheville.
Oh,
Like, you know where the hurricane hit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you stay and like did you ever like experience a hurricane? Like just randomly? Or like any sort of natural disaster?
Yeah, I've been through a tornado, an earthquake, a blizzard.
What do you have?
I don't
What's a
think I've ever
blizzard
been
like?
through a hurricane though, just a tropical storm.
What's a blizzard like?
It's just really white. You can't see shit. And I was driving through it. It's actually, so like, you know, the blizzards that were happening like this last winter, like last year's winter.
No, I don't really remember hearing anything about it.
There's a blizzard in Wyoming and somewhere else. and basically, uh, it was just like, it was damn near whiteout. Like, the whole road was covered in snow, and if you didn't have chains, you were kind of fucked unless you really knew how to drive and you had 4-wheel drive, which thankfully I did.
Yeah, I would definitely struggle. I would definitely struggle in a what do you call it, a blizzard.
It was scary as fuck. I watched the semi fall over. That shit was cool. Well, not
that,
cool, but
that shit was cool. That shit was nice. Watch the dude get fucking, watch the dude explode. That shit was dope. Lit as hell. Have you what about, you said that you lived in pretty rough parts of Cali. Did that strictly apply to California, or did it apply to like just anywhere else you lived?
I mean, I lived in some rough parts in other states too, yeah.
Like,
I feel like Myrtle Beach is pretty bad. Like, the population is...
by bad, do you mean, like, what kind of bad? Like, drugs, gangs?
Drugs, definitely. Gangs, not so much. But drugs, definitely. And, like, sex workers, and, like, just...
What do you think like, about, like... What is your opinion when it comes to prostitution? Do you think that should be something that's legalized in the future, but regulated?
I feel like they should keep that shit in Amsterdam, honestly.
They should keep that shit in the red light district.
Yeah, for real. Like, this is America. Like, you want a
land of opportunity. You can just... There's other things you can do rather than sell your body. But we're not ever gonna make fun of someone who sells their body, because everyone has to get their nut off every once in a while. Just make sure that you're clean.
I think if you're at the point where you have to sell your body, that's one thing.
That's when you should probably seek help.
I feel like OnlyFans is
OnlyFans. Yeah. I agree with you on that. OnlyFans is definitely
crazy, bro. I can't like the amount of bots that are targeted towards men to fucking auto ad them and then send them nudes. Like, that shit's hella illegal, but nobody gives a fuck because
minors. It definitely targets minors too.
Yeah, and like, it's crazy because like, if it was happening to a female, like, it'd be a big ass deal. But
it'd be a big story. There'd be like people talking about it. But since it happens to men, people are like,
I myself, like, I've had to block like fucking, I would say at least 30 fucking bots on Snapchat and like on Instagram and shit that follow me. You're like, you know how it is?
Yeah.
That shit's ridiculous, bro. You can't even go in an Instagram comment section anymore without seeing some hoe be like, oh, I think I'm hiding something. Can you find it? Like, bro, what?
Bro, or they'll put like, check my profile for like peach emoji, eyeball emoji.
Yeah, like, come on now.
And I know girls I know young women who, they don't even give anything a shot. Like, that's their immediate first thing they do is OnlyFans. Like, they turn 18 and they make an OnlyFans account.
Bro. Like, just go to Pornhub. Nobody wants to fucking...
Pornhub gives you health benefits, at least.
I just hate OnlyFans because it created the option to, like, branch out basically
it definitely made
social media. Like, nobody thinks about that shit. Like before OnlyFans, Brazzers, fucking Pornhub, all that shit that was like, super, like porn, like that shit was kept,
and even things like Pornhub and
Brazzers,
those things are definitely even regulated better than I would say OnlyFans.
And regulated too, right? And then OnlyFans came out, and it's like, it just infused into social media and targeted children, bro. Like,
when it comes to companies targeting children, like companies like Galaxy Gas or vaping companies, what are your thoughts when it comes to someone targeting children indirectly?
As someone who like is literally like has 2 vapes next to him right now, that shit's fucked. And I can literally give you like a brief explanation on why all that shit happened.
Go ahead.
If you want a direct finger to blame, I would blame Juul. Juul
Really?
is the blend. Yes, and here's why. I'll explain it to you directly. So, Juul was the first company to be able to formulate actual like nicotine salts. Like everybody says that, you know, there were nicotine salts you could buy at that time in vape shops and shit. But dude,
Joel popularized it.
No, it's not that they popularized. I can't say that. Popularized it. It's not that they did that. It's that they have a different formula. They added a different chemical that makes it seep into your blood faster.
Don't they add embalming fluid to vape juices now?
I don't know about all that. That's
taxidermy?
That's like on the conspiracy spectrum.
Well, that's just what I hear
Everything
from
I'm
like
talking
the
about
truth
is like
commercials.
shit that's literally been like it's in documents. And they also
I know
did a documentary about it.
the women pregnant pee thing. I don't know if that was ever a proven thing that happened, but I definitely heard people talk about it.
Embalming fluid.
Embalming fluid is, I am pretty sure, a chemical in vape. Well, at least like the truth commercials, they talk about it.
See, truth doesn't want you to quit though. That's the thing.
They make money off of people being addicted.
Yeah. They don't want you to quit either.
And there's always going to be people who do drugs. It's never going to be something that people just all simultaneously be like, man, I really probably shouldn't be taking oxys.
So that's not it. That's like just the start. Juul was the start, right? Because they created the pods and shit, and they figured out a little bit of money, and then they got sued, and they had to shut all their shit down and cancel all their flavor of pods because of the Trump flavor ban, right?
Yeah.
Then you had Puff Bar. Now, Puff Bar is where it really gets fucking dirty because they're the ones who added that chemical that I was talking about that makes it seep into your blood faster. I can't remember the exact name of it. It's like acetylene or some shit. Or not like acetylene, like, you know, the shit you fucking well with, but it's something else.
I can tell you.
But it's a lot worse because, like, you get an instant fix. So you can just, like, hit that shit. And you don't know, but eventually you're taking, like, 10 milligrams in a span of fucking, like, 5 minutes. Like, that shit's crazy. People see 5% on these vapes. That's not 5%, bro. That's 50 milligrams.
And that's more than anyone should be using, especially since vaping, you know, initial purpose was to help people stop smoking cigarettes and just other tobacco products in general. But when they realized they could target it to children,
it's harder to quit. Like, I know that's a fucking blunt or like a brave statement.
That's a very wobbly thing because it hasn't been around long enough to have any definitive proof on if it's better.
Yeah,
or worse.
I'm saying it from personal experience, bro. I think it's harder to quit than cigarettes. And here's my like reasoning behind that theory is when you hit a vape, it's instant. Like, you get way more nicotine at one time, and it's pure nicotine. It's not fucking like it doesn't have to be burned and synthesized to come out of the tobacco leaf in order to like then be received, right?
Yeah.
What time are you?
We are, well, where I live, we're in Central Standard, I think.
That's like 2 hours ahead?
Well, it's 7 here. What time is it for you?
5:27.
Okay, yeah, so 2 hour difference. But, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the conclusion of our episode, we want to thank our sponsors, W Energy. Use code RACYNDUBS, RACYNDUBBS, one word, all capitals, for 15% off in the store on any of your orders. There's no purchase limit. But we want to thank you, and we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mrs. Podcast, and we hope you enjoyed our guest, Waffles here. And if you want to get in contact with us, we are going to in the pinned comment. It's going to be everywhere you can contact us, socially. But thank you guys, and have a great day. You want to go ahead and say goodbye, Waffles?
Bye, guys. Y'all have a great day.
You too.